We start off today's project with, well, let's just start with an acknowledgement. This is a stupid project. There were probably 10 other solutions within reach to solve the problem that I had, but I went with this one, and here I am. So, if you possibly clicked on this video looking for some profound insight, you will be disappointed. This is more of just me bumbling my way through a project, trying to solve one problem at a time. So anyway, having said that, this is a piece of 1/2-inch aluminum that we're going to use to make the flange that will adapt the manifold, the carb manifold, to the manifold that's already on the bus, the Vanagon. Now the original one's got some tapered profile. Well, you'll see, but it's got to have this tapered profile here where it matches up, and there's a little gasket that goes in there and stuff. But this is really the foundation. So this has to be right first, and I did some basic measurements best I could based off what I had on hand. And I'm cranking this out pretty rough, because I don't even know if it's going to work. So here's a little gasket, and there you can see that it's got that taper to it. And here is the flange. This little gasket here fought me the whole time, as you'll see. So right off the bat, I noticed that the flange is too wide there on the left side towards the intake runner. It's running into that, so that's going to be a problem. I don't view this as a long-term solution, more of a experiment to see if it'll work. Before I do anything major. So here I took that plate back and I lopped that end off, and now the hose clamp is in the way, but it appears to be the only thing in the way. So we'll rotate that out of the way, and that looks like that matches up pretty good. Again with the gasket. So the whole reason for this is all the other Volkswagens I have are air cooled. That's what I'm used to. That's what I'm comfortable with. They're all carbureted. This one here's sat for who knows how long, and I got it to run, and it ran okay. But I'm not even sure what it's called. Maybe mass airflow sensor, whatever it is, whatever's supposed to bolt where this thing is going, appears to be shot. I pulled it apart, and the little copper ribbons inside and everything are all worn out. And a new one's more money than I want to spend, especially since I don't know if that's the entirety of the problems. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just convert this one to carb. But I've never done that without gutting the whole intake system before. Did it on a Type 3, which those are pretty easy. So this is just an experiment. No reason the engine wouldn't run on a carburetor, other than me just doubting myself. So here you see the plate bolted in place. It fits in there pretty good. Looks like it's going to seal up well. So now we have to make the plenum, I guess. Since I can't do casting here, it's going to have to be made in two pieces, top and bottom, and then bolted together. So here's another piece of scrap aluminum, which I'm going to waste making this part. But I guess as long as you learn something, it's not a true waste. Roughing it out with a 5/8 inch standard 2 flute end mill. Just get rid of most of the material here. Then we're going to follow it up with a ball end mill. One mistake I realized later, I made the bottom part of the plenum flat when I really should have made the outer one a little less deep, a little shallower. So if there was any pooling, it would drain into the manifold. So since the bottom half of the top piece was made the exact same way, and we just skip that and go right to the top of the top piece, which is where the carburetor actually mounts. So in addition to the bore holes here, we also need countersunk holes for the fasteners and some tapped holes for the carburetor studs. That didn't turn out too bad. Looks pretty good. And here they are bolted together. Now to mount it to the flange here, we gotta have some drilled and tapped holes, obviously. And it'd be best to do that while they're bolted together to make sure everything lines up right. So I'm using this center hole as our reference. So that's it, more or less. And here it is with the studs installed, and I'm cleaned all the chips out of it. I had to cut a recess on the back here. Turned out it was hitting the linkage on the carburetor. So I actually made some alterations to the mounting plate itself. Well, actually to almost everything. The mounting plate you'll see, but the plenum itself, I drilled a through hole so that I could hook a small water hose to it to warm it up as it's running. So maybe hope to eliminate some icing issues because it's isolated from the manifold. And there's only a 1/4 inch hose, but turned out it worked really well. Actually warmed it up pretty fast. And I also added a little mounting hole for a bracket, which you'll see once it's installed. Alright, there it sits. I had to make this little, now you can hardly see it, little bracket here. It's kind of dangling out there by itself. I've got a fitting from McMaster. So I was going to sit the carb the other way, but it was pulling the throttle in the wrong direction. And I was going to use this as a pivot point, but the more I thought about it, it just seemed stupid. It was too much work. And all I had to do was move the throttle cable over here. Now you can't see it, but I made just a simple little bracket for it. And I mounted it on this side, and now when I step on the gas, it's going the right way. So everything works. So theoretically, anyway. I don't know. I might end up hooking up the choke. I'm not sure, but let's try and start it. See what happens. Well, cool. Obviously I need to tune the carb and check the idle circuit, or the idle screws. But so far, looks like a win. Let's try it again. Yeah, I think that's too rich. Running too rich. Anyway, I'll get that dialed in. It'll be cool. That's it. Thanks for watching.